And we should be live. Welcome, one and all, to the MIRTH QUAKE Web Show. My name is David Badurina, and for the next hour, I'll be your host for the mayhem and insanity of all things creativity and all that. This show exists to help you. You know what? It's been an ordeal. I'm just cutting the music. It's been an ordeal, people. I had reinstalled everything, and I've been ripping out cables and all this kind of stuff. So screw the music. Just getting straight to it. And I'm bringing on my man Hillbilly. Here let's get this fair. Let's get this side by side.
Now, see,
what's going on, brother?
I got to ask you the question now. Now that you got us live, why couldn't you hit the button just right, dude? What's wrong with the button?
You know what? I'm tweaking. I'm gonna tweak your nipple next time I see you.
I might like it.
Cheers on launch day, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, what do you got?
A little bit of patties.
A little who? Patties. Oh, all right. There you go.
It is a good mid-shelf Irish whiskey.
I'm drinking something that's far too expensive for me to actually appreciate. But it's okay. It'll do the job. So, and it's probably better than Fireball.
Anything's better than Fireball. Are you kidding?
Anything's better than Fireball. Well, we're here. We're together. I'm happy. I finally got you on this show, for crying out loud, too. And I've got a whole new system going on, and so
so I'm really a guinea pig, huh?
You are indeed my guinny pig.
Great.
Like,
yeah, just use the hillbilly for the game. It's okay. Okay, I like new things.
I figured.
Are you sure you really want to have me on here?
You've never had a problem when the aliens have probed you or anything? Like, we're totally good now. Oh, shoot. How are you, my friend?
Are you sure they probed me?
Maybe it was the other way around. Maybe that's why they don't come back. They're like, no, that guy's wrong. We can't. We're not going to do that again.
You know, give me a weed whacker and a little bit of WD-40. We're gonna have some fun.
Dude, you're like the MacGyver of alien invasions. That's good. The only good Fireball is a 3rd level spell. You know what, Philip? You're probably right about that.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got the whole new setup going here. So we got some comments on there. I've been upgrading the show, right? So I'm trying to get this just a little bit more polished, a little bit nicer, and all these kinds of things. And you are indeed the guinea pig, the first one on this. But I still have the sounds here's how we know that Hillbilly's coming. Ready? There it is. It's very dramatic. Very dramatic. So hey, let's go ahead and do a thing. So this is going to be part MIRTH QUAKE show and part just us BSing this whole time, and just having a good time, because today is, in fact, release day for Space Pew Pew. It's finally out in here, and we're good. And it's been quite a road. So I want to talk a little bit about that, because we had an epic Kickstarter launch.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Slightly early.
Now, hold on. Before you start talking about that, pop quiz time. Ready? Go. Explain.
Explain? It's backwards.
Explain the character.
I mean, that's Boom Boom Der Supernova. He's a violent capybara commander who is fighting for his homeland in the Harvest War. You got all the cards.
I got
ready to go. I got my cards too. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Boom Boom's going to be a favorite for some people. I've had some feedback already on characters, and Shippy and Leopold both got really high marks.
Yeah.
So and I knew Shippy would be a highlight of the story.
God, it's really hard to choose which one is a favorite, because they've all got you got a degenerate crew thrown together. They're trying to survive and get shit done, and it goes sideways so many different directions.
Oh yeah,
it's hard to pick a favorite, because it's all good, and the way that they mesh together. I mean, probably. Oh God. They were on the bridge and discussing how to properly talk to a female. That's probably one of my favorite scenes of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I speak on my nose because of that scene.
Alex and Toshiro going on and trying to be each other's bros, and it just didn't work. You know, Toshiro's got that Sheldon Cooper energy, so like it was everything just goes wrong. Tamara, where can you buy Space Pew Pew? Literally any social that I have, or davidbadurina.com. If you just go there, you'll see a link to it and go straight to the Amazon page, and it's available now, paperback and Kindle. Today is launch day, so
yeah, Kindle, paperback, hardback. It's going to be available on Amazon, of course, and anywhere else that you can buy books. You go to Walmart.com, you should be able to find it.
Oh, nice. Right.
Yeah, you can get it at Walmart, you can Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. You go on their website, you should be able to find it there available too. So
yeah, it's not it's not just the Amazon ISBN. So
right.
so that
the ebook is in KU and Kindle. So it's
right.
there if you're an e-reader.
It said the hardback was sold out or something when I was on Amazon. So I don't know if something went sideways with that, but it was like just not available.
It's still processing. Something with Ingram. I've already sent them another email. It's like, come on, people. It's been I'm waiting on this.
It's been slow. Yeah, they've been slow for sure.
Well, in your description, you wanted to talk some about the publishing and all that. That's some of the stuff going on in the background that sometimes slows things down.
Well, let's do this. Here's let's get some. I know it's gonna be hard to wrangle you because you're you, and I say that with a lot of love in my heart, man. But it's like herding cats working with you. So we're gonna go 30 seconds.
Jenny.
I'm gonna go. There's gonna be more rules in the Ravens. There's gonna be more Raven rules by the time this stream is over. I guarantee you.
Oh wait, should we go over the rules?
We can go over some of them.
Give me the rules.
We can go over the direct violation of rule number 4 when we were there. No rule. Wait, which is the eating one? Was that 7? I forget which one it was. Think before you eat.
Yeah. So quick rundown. 3 Ravens has a set of Raven rules thanks to some things that authors have done, and one of these is actually mine. So first one, don't cost us bail money. It's a bad idea.
Right. 2,
no hospital trips. Now these are all from cons and trips and things like that these rules have been generated from. Challenge accepted. Thanks, Phil. Yeah, come on. Okay, number 3, don't fraternize with the fans girls. We have a particular author we had to talk down a little bit. Number 4, don't let Jenny near the electronics because she has this whole Faraday cage.
She's a walking EMP pulse.
Yeah, pretty much. She tries electronics. Okay, number 5, don't be a dick. Kind of important.
Makes sense.
Number 6, don't get us kicked out.
Okay.
And number 7, think before you eat, which is another Jenny one because she's allergic to coconut oil. And they went to the con suite at Liberty Con, and there was some chocolate mousse. Like, I wonder if there's any coconut oil in it. Well, if the nurse that was there, it's like, if you dab it on the back of your hand, see if it reacts. So she dabbed it on the back of her hand, and and the nurse ran 16 stories down to the parking garage to go get the Fitted girl out of her car and then back upstairs to give it to her.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Ay, man. And then of course at the last Liberty Con last year with the whole chocolate, what was it, like ass blaster chocolate or whatever that the hell it was called?
It was oh god.
It was like fire butt or something. I forget what it was called. It was something like that. Colon cleanse.
Flaming asshole.
Flaming
anus. That was it.
What is it?
Flaming anus.
Flaming anus. That's right.
It was a Reaper infused dark chocolate. It wasn't that bad, but apparently Jenny did not learn the lesson of Rule 7 because her being this little baby spice monster that doesn't eat spicy, it's like took a little piece and chewed on it and started to die while we were on the trailer park panel.
It's in the it is in the vlog. I vlogged that entire weekend and I caught that moment where she just
Hi, Jacqueline.
Yep. Jax is there. She's in the other room. So anyway, I want to do some this or that because for those that'll be watching this, obviously streams are evergreen. And some people they're like, who the hell is this guy? So let's do some this or that. I want you to answer these as fast as you can. I'm going to run down a whole bunch of them, right? Just don't even think about it. Just give me an answer. You ready? No.
Boobs.
That's okay. But
Boobs.
You know, I don't have that question on there, but before I start, would you rather travel in a homemade hot air balloon or a janky submarine?
Oh God. Wait,
Now
did I
really
build
think
it?
about this. No, somebody else has built both.
Do I get
And
time to inspect them?
no, you're either very high over the ground or very deep in the ocean. One of them's homemade, one of them's janky.
Oh, we're flying then. Fuck it.
You're flying.
I might get lucky and land on a cow or some shit and survive. I don't know.
Okay, all right. No, and
Might
look, it's a
Sasquatch in the
valid
middle
point.
of the plummet.
It's a valid point. For me, I'm like, I'd rather be in the sub because if it's over in 5 milliseconds and I'm good. All right, so let's do some of these, right? Let's go. I can't type. Liberty Sin 36 vlog is it? Okay, yeah, go watch it after. Are you okay out there? No, she's fine. I'm sure she's fine. Anyway, all right, so here we go. Boromir or Faramir?
Neither.
Neither? Okay. Let's go Marvel or DC. Come on, you got to pick one.
Just
Don't
because of Lobo, I'll go DC.
Okay. Smog or Sauron?
Oh, Smaug.
Smaug. Pineapple pizza or no pizza at all?
No pizza at all. What the hell is wrong with you, communist?
Orcses or hobbitses?
Hobbitsies.
Hobbitsies.
Yeah, you can toss them around.
Let's say zombie apocalypse or robot overlords.
Zombie apocalypse. I could
Obviously
bash in heads.
I knew you were going to say that anyway. Let's go space pirates or space police.
Pirates.
Of course. Let's see. Alien invasion or AI takeover.
Oh. Alien invasion. We get to kill shit.
Absolutely. Death metal or polka.
The fuck do you think is the answer to that one? Really? Polka versus no, okay,
Look, I know you're
I'll take Weird Al polka all day long. I mean, it's awesome.
See?
Weird Al. But yeah, metal. Fuck metal.
Don't at me, bro. All right. Let's go The Fresh Prince or Saved by the Bell.
Oh God, Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince. Let's see. She-Ra, Princess of Power or Gem and the Holograms.
Jim and the Holograms. They were cute.
See, this is good. I can ask you the Gen X questions and you understand what the hell I'm talking about.
I do.
Yeah, exactly.
And
would you rather spend a day with Ferris Bueller or a day with Doc Brown?
Oh God. Dude,
I know.
Doc Brown.
Yeah. I think people tend to lean Doc Brown just because it's more of an adventure.
Let's see. Death Metal Polka, Jackie.
There is Death Metal Polka.
There is.
Right. I discovered Clowncore recently. That was fun. Let's do one last one. Skeletor or Shredder?
34.
Skeletor or Shredder?
Skeletor.
Skeletor. He's, you know what? He's funnier. He's funnier.
Shredder was just kind of meh. You're like making up for something, dude. I mean, you're compensating.
He was compensating with all the blades.
Yeah, he was lacking in other parts of his life, so he made up with all the extra blades so he could cut people.
There it is. Himself. Oh man, Grimfell's here. Greetings, sir, and thank you for ordering the book today. Quite appreciated. I am looking forward to having you on in a couple weeks, my man. Audio's in progress. You can see in the back here the studio where my curtain and everything fell down, but I'm working on it. And they also finally finished construction out right in front of my building. So I'm like, I'm going to record an audiobook. And then all of a sudden all you hear outside is beep, beep, beep for like 3 hours. I'm like, for crying out loud. Like we can't get anything done in here.
Yeah, that don't work good.
Yes. And thank you, Tim. I'm glad you're here, my man. Thank you. So Hillbilly, for those that don't know you, give me 30 seconds of just like who you are, what do you do? And just, the floor is yours for all the things.
Okay. So yes, most people call me Hillbilly. That's been my call sign since day 3 of boot. I write under William Joseph Roberts, and I write sci-fi, fantasy, horror, anything the evil mind squirrels demand to me. And I'm also the lead publisher at Three Ravens Publishing. I'm kind of a jack of all, man. I mean, I get into things. I'm self-taught on so many different things. All the software I use for the day job, it just the squirrels go, oh, let's look at this. And now we're going to become somewhat of a little bit of an expert, enough to be dangerous with it. And then we're moving on to the next thing. I'm on so many damn watch lists, I'm sure. And I bet my agent drinks regularly because of the searches that I do. I mean, he's probably like, what the fuck is he doing today? No, he's up at midnight. No.
Drink when he says evil mind squirrels. Yeah, I'm already there. I'm going. And yeah, so you did you were like what is it, F-35 mechanic or some such thing?
Bite your tongue.
F-300 A-10. Did you do a Warthog? Like, what was your thing?
No, I have turned wrenches on an A-10 Warthog.
Heavy, nice.
My primary aircraft was drink when he says evil mind squirrels. Oh, okay.
Right. Hey, he just said it.
So no, my primary aircraft was an F-15. I worked on C, D, and E models. I have turned wrenches on A-10s, F-16s, F-4s, C-130. Yeah, just a little bit of everything, depending on what was going on. I've helped change an engine on a Harrier.
Oh, nice.
I was helping on a strut job on an F-14 when I was in Okinawa. Damn it, I can't talk.
That's all right.
We had a Marine hangar just right on the other side of the 44th Fighter Squadron, and we got to go over there, check things out sometimes, and just kind of tool around and help them just to see. Got to play with some Tornadoes over in the sandbox. The Brits were there. The French hated us. They wouldn't let us near their stuff. Well, there's good reason why they hated us, because yeah.
I mean, that never really stopped anyway. So that's
there was extra reasons after we got there.
Well, there you go. And also, so author, you've done the sci-fi. Do you still do the sci-fi show or no?
I haven't in a while, just because
Sci-fi radio,
busy, and they brought us back
for sure.
back to the office since July 1st, and I effectively lost 4 hours a day.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah, it gets crazy. It gets crazy.
It's one of those
what about time to?
You got to do what you can do.
What about time to write for you? Are you getting some words down here and there?
I'm still getting some words down. I've honestly been hard focusing on trying to get as much of the backlog cleared out from Three Ravens. I mean,
yeah,
our slush pile is empty now. I cleared it out completely. Got responses back to everybody. There's a few I haven't heard back from them. And honestly, with me being back in the office and life still happening for the partners, it's shifting to where we're going to be focusing on the primary universes like JTF, Car Wars, things like that.
Yep.
And not really accepting cold submissions anymore. The only way to be able to get in is either you're submitting a proposal or a pitch for one of the existing universes. You meet us at a con and it's like, oh yeah, send me a copy of that. I want to read that.
Right.
Or you're brought in by one of our other authors who's like, hey, you need to read this guy's stuff.
Right. And you're still doing the open calls and stuff like that for all the things.
Open call anthologies. That is going to slow down a little bit. That's part of the backlog that I got to get caught up on, because J.R. Hanley and his team have been running some of those for us. And I have a slew that just need to be put out. They've already got them prepped. They're formatted. I just got to do them.
Oh, nice. All right. So, so you're in everything. Like your hands are, you're all the things. Yeah. No, and that's good. And so today for the Space Pew Pew launch, right? This process, I just want to go like, let's just run through the history of this thing, right? Because it was a year and a half ago at LibertyCon, roughly.
Yeah.
Right. June 23. Where I didn't want to read it, and I read it because it was the only other thing I had other than my debut novel. And the only people in that room, of course, were Philip. Jenny was in there.
Mhm.
I forget who else. I forget who else was in there.
And they came running back after that reading, and it's like, dude, you got to go meet this guy. You got to go talk to him.
Talk to the Pew Pew dude.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And at that point, so I started out, I wrote that from a prompt, right? And it was like a short story contest or something like that. And it was on vocal.com. And I was on there and I was just like, let me just throw some writing out on here and see, at least it's like just getting me to put some words down here and there. I wasn't really writing very much at all. I was still just having a hard time after my brother had passed away, and then my dad passed away shortly after that. So it was just like everything was kind of a mess up here. But like writing something funny, I'm like, you know what? I had a really good time with this, and it was a short story. It was like 5,000 words, and it was done. And then we were getting close to LibertyCon, and I kept reading the first chapter of Caretaker, my other one. That we're gonna work on this one too. And I'm like, it doesn't take very much time to read that, so I might have something else. So I wrote the first chapter for Space Pew Pew, and that was the only thing that I brought to LibertyCon. Sure enough, to read it, they're like, hey, go talk to Hillbilly. And then I met you that night over mead, and you're like, let's talk when there's not alcohol going on. So it was the following morning, and I basically gave you the pitch, and I said a couple things that hit your head when I said Spaceballs, Ice Pirates, Galaxy Quest, Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
And you were like, I'm in. All right. Sure.
Well, that's one thing that we've been kind of standing out about. We're getting known for fun titles. It came from the Trailer Park series.
Absolutely.
It's just stupid fun titles. It's humorous. It's fun. Yeah. It's enjoyable. It's not deep. It's not, you don't have to think. You don't have to really know a lot about it. You just go along for the ride.
Yeah, for sure.
Space Pew Pew, dude, it fits the mark. I mean, just like you rattled off, Ice Pirates, Spaceballs, Red Dwarf. It's all of those things all wrapped up together with a little bit of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, a little Firefly in there.
Yeah, a little bit of Firefly. I mean, some The Last Starfighter. I mean, there's that was many different influences that I saw in this.
Right.
And it meshed together so well. And those little things, I mean, like Toshiro with his database, and he's pulling from the past. I mean, it's similar to what me and Chris Woods did with Smuggler's Run, where my character, Van, he loved everything that was the 80s. And this is like 3,000 years in the future.
Right.
So it's all wrong. It's all twisted up. And
have you done Babylon 5? Have you seen all of them?
No, I've been working my way through it. Okay. I was overseas and deploying when Babylon 5 and Deep Space Nine and Voyager were on air. Gotcha. And I've already done DS9 and Voyager, so I'm working on Babylon 5 now. That and Andromeda.
Right. So Babylon 5, man, I made it through those seasons twice, and every single episode, and I loved the characters because it had the humor, but it also had the serious stuff. And there's a certain character, he was the security guy, and he loved old things, and so he was rebuilding like a 1990s motorcycle on the space station, and it was impossible to get the parts. And that's always something that was just very intriguing for me, is to work in, like, obviously we want to be able to resonate. Like, we can't all be Tolkien. We can't all just like make the language and then write the book and like all this kind of stuff. So you need a way to connect with people. I'm ridiculous. First thing you said after you read the book, you called me and you were like, what the hell's wrong with you? So, like, well,
you never did answer me.
Now you know. Yeah. Well, I mean, you put the comments in when you were editing. You're like, what there was one of them. You're like, I hate you right now. Like, that's all you wrote.
Well, that's fair. Okay,
I know what it was from.
So for anybody that doesn't know, the way that we tend to do edits, we do our work on Google Docs. So we have a live document that we can go through and see what each other's marking and things like that. And I literally will go through and just whatever that stream of conscious thought is at that moment, I'll put that in. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you stupid? This can't happen, but I love it, so we're going to keep it. But you're still stupid, and I hate you right now, but I love you. And it'll be something like that. And then here we go, and comma, and delete this word, and fix this. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that I scare some people with the comments I put in there, especially if they don't know me.
Oh no, I got it. Like I knew right away. Actually, every time you were like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" or just like straight up cursing at me, I was like, "Yes, like yes, that's the reaction I wanted."
Well,
Oh man, that's
that's the
really
point
funny.
of doing what we do. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
if you can invoke a physical or an emotional response, you're doing your job.
Right. Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that as an author, we're trying to translate what's in our head and those feelings and emotions and sensory bits. And if the readers are feeling that and they're absorbing it and becoming part of it, oh hell yes.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Absolutely. So anyway, we had that LibertyCon thing, and you're like, go ahead and like just send it to me when you got it. Which of course at that point I had one chapter, so I had to write the rest of the book. Which got through that. Everything was cool. Like some bumps along the way, but for the most part, I'm not going to say that I full on pantsed it, but it was pretty close. It was pretty close to just like a straight up pants job on it.
Yeah, but it
But
worked good.
I always knew the end was going to be what it was to lead into more. Um, and I really just wanted to honestly, it's like it's tough with a first book in a series, or in a world. You want to set up everything, but you don't want to be explaining things, so it's like, well, let's just go for the ride through it. When you're
Okay,
reviewing,
question for you.
yeah.
When you initially set down, what was your main arc that you were actually starting to work with, and did it shift midstream?
No, honestly, the main arc is there, and it's alive and well. And if anything, I added some flavor to it, because the main thing for me was I really wanted to write a story about somebody who was just a little bit lost and wanting to find home, and and had an idea for home that maybe was too idealistic, and taking for granted things right in front of him. And that's Alex. And that's the nature of his character. This whole relationship with Sashiro is him just really not appreciating him. Jacques Starblazer. We'll
Don't
get to
forget
that
about
one.
his obsession.
We'll get to that one for sure. But then as it did evolve a bit from there, because exploring that relationship with Sashiro, where it's that real odd couple, can't stand each other. They, at any given moment, they want to shove each other out the airlock, but they really can't live without each other either.
Yeah, and then
And so
you threw in the wrench of, dude wanted Toshiro for parts.
right, for a coffee maker.
Yeah,
because coffee was the only good ancient Terran invention. That was it. It's just coffee. Yeah, and trying to color it that way, and tug at the heartstrings a little bit. Now the other stuff, in terms of all the other weird stuff that I'm throwing in there, like that was just weird stuff. Like at any given moment, I'd have an idea and I'd be like, man, I really got to work this in somehow. you know, and that's like I feel like that's pretty normal. In terms of like in terms of just like I can fit it. I can fit whatever weird thing I'm thinking about. Now, the capybara thing, all right. Like I just
where the hell did that come from? That seems like it was like just like, oh my god, let's do this.
Well, think about it, right? And here's my hand wavium. Okay. when I'm thinking about like space civilizations and stuff like that, and I'm thinking like at some point long time ago, just things got ejected from Earth's orbit, right? So what? Yeah, I was going to get to that too, Philip. But one of the things that gets ejected from, or like, so life forms that just have no problem breeding, and then eventually, and so like the capybara were sort of my version of like, Planet of the Apes, but it's just Planet of the Capybaras. So they can all do their thing and then establish it, and then working on their personality and like what they're like as a civilization. They're very just straightforward, and they're just like kind of minding their own business and getting dragged into a war because like you got to have a war in space. That's just fun. So there's that. I mean, there's a lot of different things like involved with all those. I want to see if I can actually share something real quick with you here. And I got I got a review that I wanted to post up here and give you a quick read on it.
Okay. Did you see where we were in the rankings?
I didn't know.
We were number 19 in new releases for humorous fiction. I don't remember if that was ebook or print.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean,
I'll take it.
It's jumping up there already.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. That's really good. Let me see if I can share this real quick. And boom.
Well,
All
okay,
right.
well, you're doing that. For all the viewers, if you don't know, it is very important that for the indie author side of things, share these. Share it. If you're not going to be able to buy it, that's okay. But share it to your friends and all that to see if the signal boost will help to find somebody that does. And if you do read it, please leave a review. Those reviews really, really matter, because as soon as you leave that review and people can see that, they can mark it as helpful. That boosts the algorithm and helps to give it a boost up the list. And the higher up the list it goes, the more that Amazon will start to promote it and show it out there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to show this one to you because he just sent it to me. This is my buddy Steve in the UK. He was Kickstarter supporter and the whole thing. It was one of the ones that I sent there. I'll read it up for you though. Remember a time when stories had relatable heroes, sinister villains, and sidekicks that you cared about? I do, and I'm glad the author of Space Pew Pew, David Badurina, does too. It's a great read, clever weave of humor and adventure, takes you on a journey with some wild and interesting characters across a galaxy that has literally been built from the fragments of everything that has come before. Stakes are real. Pace reminds me of a classic 80s Saturday afternoon TV series where I would be gripped by scintillating action and cliffhangers. The creative genius of one particular chapter will amaze you. When was the last time you found a classic rhyming child's favorite book genre meeting old school hip hop? And that's what Philip was alluding to right there. So
if I can,
I don't want to like give that away, but yes, like that's coming.
Okay, so folks, I just pulled up the stats, and anywhere that you can push this, tell people about it, buy a copy. We are currently number 3 in new release for Absurdist Fiction ebook. We are currently number 5 for new release Absurdist Fiction in print. And in humorous science fiction, we are sitting at number 24.
Oh, nice.
So, we can get that orange tag, that number 1 bestseller orange tag on Amazon. Yeah. It helps to sell the book once it starts hitting that, because then Amazon starts pushing for us.
Right. Now, how does that, is that like sales within a 24-hour time period? Like, how does that exactly work?
It's within release. Like the pre-sales, they go into that for release day. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how the algorithm does it, because the algorithm keeps changing.
Yeah.
And it is hard to predict. It's hard to keep track of. But we know that the more traction and the more traffic drives those numbers up and puts it in front of more people.
Right.
We can only do so much by doing ads on either Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, things like that.
Yeah, of course.
But once it starts seeing that, oh, hey, people are liking this, let's show it to more people. Yeah, and that's what the algorithm does. It sees that people are enjoying it. So, yeah, okay, my sales pitch is over. I don't want to like beat a dead horse and sound like just buy the book. Well, yeah,
just buy the damn book.
But tell people about it. Spread the word. Boost the signal.
Yeah, absolutely. All that kind of stuff that's the stuff that's really key, honestly.
And for the folks out there that don't know how some of this stuff works on the indie side, we don't just put a post out in one place. We tend to put posts out in a lot of places, and you can't just do it once. You have to do it multiple times over and over, but you have to stagger them. And just like, okay, those reviews went up. I won't hit that helpful mark on the reviews until a few days later to boost the signal again.
Yep. Yeah.
So sales little things like
that. Sales frequency and good reviews. So those are good. And the reviews go up. Like it takes a little bit of time, but like usually an hour or 3 or something, and like the review gets posted. But I think the actual rating gets posted right away. I think it's a review that takes a minute. So, yeah, recent sales are weighed more heavily according to Google AI. Oh, there you go. When it's not trying to take over everything. So anyway, so good reviews coming back on it. People are enjoying it. All good. And then so after wrote and then send it to you, we worked on that, and then came the decision of let's do a Kickstarter, right? And it's like, okay, I've never done Kickstarter. I don't know anything about Kickstarter. And you're like, let's just here's how it's going to go. And of course, we had the most epic Kickstarter launch 24 hours before we were supposed to have the most epic Kickstarter launch.
It kind of flopped, but it worked well, and we funded in a few hours.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, same day and everything. That was really funny because then a bunch of people were like, actually, this is kind of on brand for the book.
Yeah, we had a premature pupillation.
we did.
All thanks to me pushing the wrong button. I mean, I like pushing the button. Trust me, I do. Yeah, I hit the wrong one that time.
This really makes me wonder about those A10s that you were working on and all that. You're like, man, it's gonna be fine.
It's all right. It'll buff out. Okay. No problem. A little super glue duct tape. We're good.
Yeah, Bert, and that's it. For sure. So we get that. The Kickstarter was awesome. And we got a lot of traction from that. We funded like 400-something% on it.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but
yeah, it was somewhere around there.
It did good. And what I'm really using the Kickstarters for isn't necessarily the money.
Right.
It's getting into that social media platform because it's its own little environment.
It's weird. It's an ecosystem. Yeah, for sure.
And just getting within that, because we've already had a couple of messages come back from a couple of our backers like, hey, when's the next thing coming out? Because I need more reading material. Like, oh, so, they're following our Kickstarters because they're enjoying our work.
Right.
So that's good.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're building a whole other social media platform by doing these. And I set the goal low, so we're bound to fund, and we press on.
Yeah. I mean, look, it worked. We sent out a lot of copies. And then and now those are the ones that we got to try and get people to review and all that kind of stuff. And some international ones, because I had people that were international that were just like, I really
we had England, Germany, Poland.
Yep.
There was one other overseas, and I don't remember where it was.
Yeah, for sure. So all good there. And then yeah, it was just like kind of time to fulfill those and then gear up for this thing being out there and all that. So I'll ask you this. All right. Where does this fit in terms of like, in terms of Three Ravens? Like, this is, you consider Space PEW PEW like a pretty on brand release.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, did you read mine Flux Runners?
I got through a lot of Flux Runners before I had to do all the other things. Yes.
I mean, it's right on brand with that.
Yep.
It's right on
100%.
brand with it came from the trailer park.
For sure.
It's fun.
Right.
It's chaotic. It's fun. It's not the norm. It's not, oh my God, look, Space Marines, chest beating, and we're good.
For sure. Not that there's anything wrong with military sci-fi, obviously. But you had mentioned too that, you have squirrel brain, and you were like, I got through the book in like 2 days.
Yeah.
So, and that's really what I was going for too. So I remember having this conversation with you where it's like, one of my favorites growing up was Robert Aspirin, and I loved his myth books, Sweet Mystery of Life, and like just how they were all just kind of branded and fun and quick read. It was like a Saturday, Sunday read, and it was over and it was done. Yeah. And I always enjoyed that. Now, the thing about Robert Aspirin is that he was able to churn out a book every like 3 weeks, which I cannot do. But like we all have goals.
Have a day job, I could do that.
You might be able to run them through that fast.
But dear God, it's like if I didn't have a day job, yeah, it's game on, man. Just turn the evil mind squirrels. Oh shit! Hold on,
you're empty. oh, that's right. Cheers to that, sir.
No, I had beer. It's okay.
Beer before, just never mind. Just drink it all. So you know Rich Wyand?
Yes.
Wait, so I went to one of his things actually at LibertyCon, and he's like, I write a book a month. You what? He's like, I get up, I have breakfast, 9 o'clock, I'm sitting down, I write until 5. I take like a break for lunch. I write until 5, and then I'm done. And I do that every single day until the book is done. And it's usually about he's like 25 days.
Yep.
However many words he gets out, he turns it out, he sends it to edit, and then he takes a week and just relaxes. And then first of the month, he sits down, 9 o'clock, he's writing the next book.
Yep.
3 weeks later, he sends it out, takes a week off, and then I'm like, are you serious?
But he's retired.
Exactly. Yeah.
He does have the time to do that. And Rich has built this fandom that
they were showing up cosplaying to his panel at LibertyCon.
And they just like that, man, just out of nowhere, they just started building up. It was like, oh my God. He has some fans that hooked in. They loved his work. And he's the diamond in the rough kind.
For sure.
Just like Terry Maggart,
I love Terry.
He was hustling, he was working, and then it hooked and it took off. And now
that was Backyard Starship.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He's living the dream.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know, right? Let me tell you, I'm proclamation right now, Hillbilly. Somebody shows up to LibertyCon one of these years in the future, dressed like Jacques Starblazer. We're pouring the drinks, and you and I are doing karaoke, because that's going to be a time to celebrate, and it's going to have to be Engelbert Humperdinck. I'm really sorry.
Oh my God. Live in Uranus.
Look, they say write what you know.
Well, you're going to have to read the book first.
Okay.
She wants to dress up.
Oh, there it is. No, that's you can't do it that way. You can't do it because I said that. Yeah. So that one, because you showed the card before, the whole Jacques Starblazer thing.
Yeah.
And I know this is it's a little bit of a trope to have the character that's obsessed with something stupid. Right?
It's so hilarious though, and it drives so many different points.
It really does. I put it in everything. So growing up, my mom had an 8-track player in the house. My dad had these giant speakers, huge cabinet speakers. He had the 8-track player and the record player right over it. It was one of those, you can hear the glass clinking closed on the magnet. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I
don't remember the brand, but I know.
Yeah,
we had one.
For sure. So she had a stack of 8 tracks of Engelbert Humperdinck. My mom loves Engelbert Humperdinck. And I'm like, this guy is he's the cheesiest. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, what if we do that, but just put it on a galactic scale, the galactic cheese fest that is Jacques Starblazer. Starblazer as the name was a throwback to a show that I watched as a kid called Starblazers.
Oh God.
You remember it?
Oh yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, the American anime. So my brother and I I grew up watching that with him every Saturday morning. I forget. I think it was called something Ship Yamato or something like that. The Japanese anime version.
Yeah. That was before it became.
It was 70s, 80s.
It was late 70s, early 80s. It was 81.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it. Damn it! I'm brain farting.
It had the big ship with the wave motion gun and the whole thing.
There was a big issue between, what was it? Between that anime series and BattleTech when they put out the mechs, because the Marauder looked like one of the battle pods.
Fascinating. All right.
And so there was this big legal action going back and forth between all that shit.
Motion wave. That was the one. Yep. Yeah.
If you have not listened to Richard Cheese, you need to listen to Richard Cheese. Okay. He is a modern lounge singer who takes a lot of modern songs, Nirvana's Rape Me. Me, yeah.
Oh, and he does it like just kind of like a
Rape
smoky
me.
lounge.
Oh yeah, and he does a full lounge. I mean, what was it?
That's good.
Not let the bodies hit the floor.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh God, there was an
Down with the sick.
yeah, Down with the Sickness.
No,
That
he
was
did
it.
Down with the Sickness.
He did Down with the Sickness, lounge style. You've got to look it up if you have not looked it up before. It is so worth the listen.
Fantastic.
You wouldn't believe the number of songs that he has turned into a lounge song,
Go for
and
it.
it strangely works.
Right. Yeah. Well, there was a Postmodern Jukebox. They do the same thing.
I love their work.
They're great. Like they're so talented. They do great stuff. Maybe not quite on the cheese. And obviously, you and I are big fans of Dred Zeppelin.
Yes. God, yes.
So I followed them on way back when. I followed them on Instagram, and it was just pictures of giant cheeseburgers. Like that was it. They just posted what they
even
ate.
still touring.
I don't even know. Like I honestly I don't know. I can't imagine somebody in there's got to have some wicked diabetes. So
by this point, I mean, what they've been
like,
touring since the early 90s or late 80s?
They've been going for a long time. Yeah, I think it was 80s. And that was so Dred Zeppelin is it's the music of Led Zeppelin. The lead singer is an Elvis impersonator, and they do it in the style of reggae. Right?
I don't know if I can show this or what.
He's still around.
Well, I can't post a picture or anything. I pulled it up.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh wait, private chat. Maybe it'll go in there. Paste. Nope. Let me see.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I just pulled up a link and it shows the band.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so I guess they're still going. I mean, look, good for them.
I'm looking.
I think the main thing is that, like, it's you and I both have a thing for the absurd. Like, we like absurd stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's funny.
Okay, so they apparently were active years were 89 to 2016.
Oh wow. Oh man. Philip, yeah, that is a sound. Yeah, their whole the immigrant song when they do that. Oh my God. Oh, like that was so good. Everything about them was just super entertaining. They found their niche.
I haven't listened to them in forever, and now you just so Jose back there at the freaking jukebox in the back of the brain. Yeah, now guess what? He's pulling up.
That's what you hear now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be that or
thanks,
look,
asshole. Now I got to listen to Dred Zeppelin for the next week and a half.
You should do Dred Zeppelin and Guar. Dred Zeppelin and Guar. Those two are.
I'm trying to get a hold of Guar. So,
are you? Stop. Yeah, seriously?
I'm trying to get a hold of Guar and ICP for openings for Trailer Park.
That's amazing.
Why the hell not? What are they going to do? Ignore me?
Well, yeah. The worst they can do is say no.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm out an email. I mean, I've already sent ICP an email, and through a friend, I think I might.
It's true.
Be able to get in touch with one of the members of Guar. So, yeah.
Right. All right. Look, hey, go for it, man. That's pretty awesome.
I love Guar stuff. And the concert I took Bug to, they were here in Chattanooga, and I was filming, and I saw a bumper sticker on one of their cases back behind stage, and I started to zoom in, and it's Trauma Films Forever.
Oh, of course. Like, of course. Yeah, of course.
It makes sense because they've been Trauma Film fans for ever and a day.
Yeah.
What was it? The Guar started out in Virginia. I forgot what campus they were on. They were college students. Half of them didn't even finish college because they became Guar.
Right.
But they were also film students, and they played with all this makeup and the costumes and stuff like that. And they had their actual band. And then they had Guar just fucking off and having fun.
Yeah, of
People
course.
were showing up to see Guar, not the,
not the band, of course.
So they're like, well, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So here we go. And if you've not listened to Guar or watched Guar, okay, if you have sensibilities and you have you don't like a lot of weird and strange and being pissed on, cummed on, bled on, you go down the list.
And there goes our YouTube stream.
Don't bother.
Yeah, there's a
You
particular
don't
lyric.
get in the first 3 rows at a Guar concert.
No. They're gonna spray you with everything. Do you remember the movie Empire Records?
Yes.
Okay, where he has the dream that he's up on stage with him. He gets eaten by the giant maggot. And
Yeah.
everything. They're hilarious. Yeah, they're really funny. They had an interview they did with Joan Rivers where they're there in the full makeup, like on the talk show, and it was so freaking funny. Then they did a one where they were following him around on a golf course. They were golfing in their full in their full, and he just he goes and he's like, "Damn, I hooked it." And he's just everything was perfectly normal. Yeah,
Well,
really.
they did. I think
That's
it
good
was
stuff.
Gary Springer. They did.
Yeah, they did Springer. Yep.
Because they had shock rock bands and stuff like that on there.
Right. Yeah, but they're funny. That's and see for me, that's the kind of stuff that I ended up growing up on. Yep. Where it was it was just funny to me and absurd and hilarious. There's nothing, nasty about it at all. So that's the kind of stuff that ends up going on in here when I'm throwing weird stuff out on a book. And next thing you know, it's called Space Pew Pew. Yeah.
I absolutely love the book. And like I said, I burned through it, reading it, not just listening through Natural Reader and having it dictated to me. I read it in a day and a half, and that's really hard for me because I'm ADHD. It hooked me, it kept me entertained and engaged, and that's beautiful.
Right.
I saw a lot of influence with Douglas Adams and Hitchhiker's Guide. I mean, what's your take on Hitchhiker's Guide? I mean, how much have you loved that? How much influence do you think it actually applied? Because I saw bits and pieces here and there, and in the influences with the characters and the interactions, especially Ford Prefect and I cannot remember his name now. The main character. Interactions like that I see with Shiro and damn it,
Alex. Yep.
Alex. Yeah. I see something similar there.
Yeah, I read Hitchhiker's Guide a very long time ago. I don't remember a damn thing about the book.
Really?
Honestly, yeah. I never really got into the Douglas Adams thing. Now, Good Omens was a huge influence for me, and I love Terry Pratchett. And I've always loved that sort of absurd. There's one, and there was a Discworld one that he did, and I don't remember which one it was, but I remember this scene where somebody had a music store, and this guy was running the music store, and he had this giant bodyguard or whatever, and he said, "Okay, I have to go. If somebody comes in here and starts playing Pathway to Paradise, rip their arms off." Right. And it's the gag that everybody goes to the music store and starts playing Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway to Heaven, yeah.
Right, of course. And nobody wants to hear it, but it's what everybody goes and plays in the music store. So I'd say Good Omens certainly was a pretty influential book for me, but Douglas Adams not so much, Honestly, I'm more of an Ayn Rand guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah. Okay, what do we got over there? Oh, anyway. And if you guys got questions in the chat,
squirrel.
Away. Oh boy. Oh, we get Serenade.
See if I can still do it.
Can you?
Maybe not.
No.
No, it might be totally out of tune.
You're somewhere around there. Now do Guar. Oh, nice. There you go. Yeah, a little bit. You finger pick. I finger pick too. I don't really remember.
I used to know Stairway to Heaven at one point, but I think this thing needs tune because it's been hanging for a little while.
Yeah, that happens. No, so no to the Douglas Adams. I mean, I enjoyed the book as far as I remember, but I don't remember really any of it, and I never saw the movie. So I just kind of missed out on that one.
Well, you didn't miss anything with the movie. If you saw the TV series, that was good.
Which there was TV series?
Oh yeah, there was a TV series during the 80s that followed the original radio plays.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Yeah, and it was spot on to everything, all the way up until the restaurant at the end of the universe.
Okay. Yep.
I don't know where, because besides the original Hitchhiker's Guide, there were several other books that were compiled into the, I think it's the Ultimate Guide or the Compendium.
Gotcha.
And it's about yay thick. It's a doorstop.
Oh, nice.
There's a lot of extra stuff that happens later after the restaurant at the end of the universe. But getting up to that point, I mean, it's the standard early 80s British humor, and Terry Pratchett pulls that stuff off too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So I
that's
mean,
why I like it. Yeah.
If you were reading Discworld and things like that, then that's probably some of that influence I was seeing.
Yeah, most likely. For me, it's honestly more TV shows and that kind of stuff, because like I've always been a huge fan of Monty Python. I've always been a huge fan of Mel Brooks. So you're going to find that kind of, that those stupid, absurd, like what's the password? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like it sounds like the password an idiot has on his luggage,
Right.
Those are the best gags for me, and those are the ones that I always wanted to.
Oh, wait, there it is.
No.
Damn it. Ah, damn it.
No. No. Yeah, it's not happening.
I lost it. I had it for a second. Fingers remember.
Do they though? No. It's gone. We're getting old, man.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna blame it on that. we're getting old and we're having a little bit. Da, da. Yep. Okay. No, that's good. Got that one down. This turned into the hillbilly serenade stream. I like it.
Squirrels. Damn it. Hey.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
For the most, yeah. No, I did. I'm good. Yeah. So that influence certainly. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for the other characters, I usually start by being like, all right, this is going to be my protagonist. I need somebody that's going to challenge him at every corner. And then whatever that relationship is, let me throw other characters in that are totally going to screw it up. That's where Andromeda came from. That's where Leopold came from. Boom Boom was kind of like a character / MacGuffin in a lot of ways. Because that's
but he fit in so well. I mean, it seemed like he was planned from the get-go.
Did you notice the dialogue? Like, did you pick out anything on the dialogue on him? I wonder if I slipped that by you.
Not particular. Was he supposed to be somebody?
Are you serious? Are you being serious? It's the most obvious thing.
Captain Obvious here.
All right.
I miss a lot of shit.
I guess so. Every single sentence that any of the capybaras say in the book, every sentence has exactly 4 words.
Really?
Every line of dialogue is 4 words and a period. You didn't pick it out.
I did not catch that.
I'm like, he's gonna be like, why are these all 4 words? And sure enough, whoop, right over.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, I was sucked in.
I guess so.
I was just devouring this damn book, and it's that.
Hey, look, I'm all right with it.
It's rare that happens when I'm reading an actual book.
Yeah. Well, I wanted. Yeah. And it's no way. Yeah. Yes way indeed. Yeah, 4 word. And you know what? It actually kind of worked out because he's sort of like stoic and just really blunt. And I'm like, it kind of like it fits the personality. And there you go. I was wondering if anybody was going to be like, dude, this guy only speaks in 4 words. Like, this is dumb. But no, there it was. And you picked out most of the references that I had in there for sure. You picked out Tommy Two Tone right away. Right. There was one that you were stuck on. There was a Fiona Apple reference in there. And you're
Yeah.
like, I know this is something. I just don't know what it is. So yeah, there were a few of those, certainly. And then all the pop culture stuff. And all of that good stuff, like those that millennial slang, or
Yeah.
Gen Z
Some of the
stuff.
millennial slang kind of, yeah,
It went
like,
over.
yeah, whatever. Go away. Shut up.
Yeah, there's that.
Well,
There's gonna be more, man. There's gonna be more.
okay. My current boss, director of engineering, he wasn't born when I was deploying and I was overseas. Yeah, and me and my buddy, my direct supervisor, he was in Okinawa at the same time I was. He was with the Marine Corps, and when the boss said that, we just kind of looked at each other. It was like, damn it.
That's really funny.
He's such a baby.
He's such a just.
If I show up with a baby bottle and diapers and leave it on his desk, I might end up in HR again.
Oh, here comes HR. Here comes HR again. They're gonna be after you, man. Yeah, Hillbilly gets in trouble at work because he speaks his mind.
Pretty much.
That's all right though. So yeah, and then I don't know. I guess plans for this thing moving forward. What do you think? You think maybe an anthology on the horizon somewhere?
We can definitely do an anthology within the universe.
Yeah.
We could. Well, I mean, we're going to have to do a Bible so that people have reference information to play with. But we can definitely do an anthology. And well, we're going to add to some of the storyline here soon because we're going to do a gaming session with Sarah and Alice, who bought it during the Kickstarter. That's going to be an interesting challenge. You're doing the storytelling. I'm doing the game run.
I have no idea what I'm doing. We'll
it's
make
okay.
It work.
I got the gaming part. You just tell the story.
Yeah,
we'll work it out. We'll wing it. It's okay.
So, like, is it like D&D rules essentially? Like a
Yeah, we'll just do my house rules and we'll
roll some dice. Like,
I'll be lucky if Sarah doesn't just get me stupid drunk so we can sing karaoke at the house. That's Sarah.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. For book 2 from the Kickstarter, we got some Tuckerizations in there. Yeah. Logan was like, I need somebody to die in there. I don't care who it is. There just needs to be confetti involved. And I'm like, well, that's a gift wrapped Tuckerization for me. Like yeah. Like, what's the confetti made out of is what we need to think about on that one. So 2 birds, 1 stone and all that. Yeah. Yeah. And then more work to expand the story and all that. So there's new characters coming in. There's new adventures to be had, but also the entire thing continues. And then you've got like the overarching, plot points and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like anything, right?
What about Shiro? Where did he really come from?
Toshiro?
Yeah. He's an interesting character. I mean, he has so many points that just like, where are you pulling him from? What was the influence there to begin with?
So the influence for Toshiro is to be to be the foil, a lot of like a Sheldon Cooper kind of vibe.
Okay.
Because like he irritates the hell out of people by just being who he is. Yep, there he is. Toshiro. And yeah, and I really kind of went for that where just everything like how could this have been a mistake? Like the whole rant about Monopoly, right? Where he just like he can't understand how you play the board game of Monopoly and like why do I have like just questioning the most basic things. Why do I have to stop if it says go? Like, all of those things. Like how do I and then he had like the thimble, right, was his game piece, and he was really really irritated with Alex because he didn't let him have the battleship. But he's
Yeah.
like, the battleship is fully armed. Like, I wouldn't have to stay in your hotel. I could just like annihilate your hotel. Yeah, and I'm living in my battleship. And like, also the hotel is really small. Like, I can't fit in it. Like, everything was just like that real obvious, like kind of like an android with Asperger's in a lot of ways, but has his moments for the comedy and also giving color to those characters in terms of, there's a lot of references in there to things that happened in their past that I just don't touch on. There's one part in particular where Toshiro says something very hurtful and Alex cuts him off. And he's like, what that was about, and there's just in the middle of an argument and it's just smoothed over and gone. But, as the author, that leaves me room to have stories that like took place in the universe a while ago, like some more of the origin stuff. How did they meet? There's so much storytelling to be had when you set them up that way. And that's something that I really tried to do right out the gate with the book, was to make sure these two characters felt like they've been living in this tin can forever and can't stand each other, but it's just what they're used to.
Well, and you pulled that off beautifully.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's
but
the
they
odd
can't
couple
live without each other either. I mean,
right.
Grumpy Old Men.
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely pulled off that dichotomy of, I can't live without you, but fuck you, I can't stand you.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah. That was sort of the thing. And all of that for me as an author, all of that is to just challenge a main character. Just how can we challenge the main character? I mean, you remember from Esmeralda, right? And I had like, here he is, he's got his overbearing uncle, and Chester's turning 18. It's how do we challenge Chester at 18? How do we get him to grow into a man on this trip, in like the craziest way possible and all that. I just really enjoy writing that way. So, find out what the flaws are for your character, find out what other characters can bring those out and shine a spotlight on them to make them squirm and hate it, and then write it.
Yep. Now, okay. So I got a question, and
yeah,
as the reader, not the publisher.
Yep.
Any teasers you want to give for book 2?
Oh, sure.
Because
I
I'm
got to be
curious
careful
as a reader. Okay, you're going to fall into the same category as Michael K. Falciani with his Raven and the Crow series.
Right.
Where's book 2? I need book 2 because I want to read the goddamn thing.
Because you want to read book 2. No, I know. Yeah, of course.
It's not a matter of publishing it. I just want to read it at this point.
Well, okay. So all right, I'm trying to do this spoiler free, right? Toshiro is in a situation at the end of the book, a very different situation for him, and his and Alex's dynamic changes like a great deal. Yeah. And so I need to introduce somebody, and I've had this one in mind for a while, that can come in and can help with Toshiro, right? So think of like an android mechanic. Okay. The only thing is, Alex is in this very weird trying to woo Andromeda thing. So let's make this mechanic a very cute, sweet,
You're bringing in Kaylee or Gadget.
Like so not quite a Kaylee, but you're getting there. You're getting there. Yeah. So somebody just to stir the pot a little bit, because imagine how much fun it's going to be when they're all back together again, and the queen has another female introduced. That should be fun. So I'll be adding that, and you're going to be meeting Frank Harris. And so my idea for a couple of characters here is Frank and his wife. I think I was going to pick like Marianne for the name, right? Frank and Marianne Harris. And they live on a colony on a planet that's just like far off. And this is going to be a major thing in this story moving forward. They're trying to book passage, right? So they're basically paying a pile of money to go from one place to another. But where they're living is on a planet where, you know how like we have Amish people here and they live like they lived in the old days.
Yep.
Well, here we are in space and we have a planet where they live like they lived in the old days, but the old days are circa, 2005. So the references, the way they dress, everything. Frank is he's a little pudgy. He's got the khaki shorts and the sneakers and the pulled up sweat socks, Major Dad energy with the periwinkle polo, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And his wife Marianne likes to make pies and all this kind of stuff. And so they're gonna get into the ship and be just like your average, middle to late age couple from the 90s or 2000s, completely out of their element, as what is essentially space Amish, and heading through. And but there's I've got a lot of plans for that. And one of thing so Frank went to high school, but just like everything where it's built on stuff that was old, their idea of how people lived during our time right here now in the present, there were some gaps. So they just had to kind of fill in like where they could. So not everything is going to be like quite perfect.
Right.
According to that. And some things are going to be like, they don't understand certain words or phrases. Like when I brought up Netflix and chill, like what the hell's Netflix and chill? Like, so what is it like to have space people in the future talking about Netflix and chill and discovering what that is? So similar to that, Frank is going to, he went to a high school and he had a goth band, but now he's just like middle-aged and older, but he still, recites some of the lyrics from time to time when he's stressed out, things like that. So I really want to play with this kind of like nerdy suburban couple on the ship while all of this insanity with capybara and a war and everything else is going on, because I just think it's going to be hilarious. So those are a couple of teasers for you as some of the things that are going to go on. But there's a lot of threads. Like Leopold's thread is wide open. Alex has multiple threads wide open. Yeah, what you got here is a bad quantum coupler, don't you know? Yes, precisely. You can't be getting out of this star system bobbling around like that. Right. Yeah.
Damn it, Phil. Shut up.
Hand me the
You're supposed to be at work right now, dude.
Hand me the wrench. I'll take care of it. And you go talk to your robot buddy.
So, this weekend, one of our family traditions is during Thanksgiving, Christmas, summer months, we don't game so much.
Right.
But when it comes to winter months, there's not so much to do outside. We get back to gaming, playing D&D. And with the gaming session we got to do with Alice and Sarah, how much of that do you think we can incorporate into the storyline?
I haven't really thought of it that way. I have that loose structure for how that game's going to go. But I'm certain that some kind of an idea is going to end up hitting where it's like, yeah, we might be able to work something like that in. Like,
well, I can record the entire session with StreamYard, so
for sure.
And I'll probably end up actually over at their place to do it. So we just got to put you on the stream.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah, hey, you can set up a little right there on the table. It's like I'm there. Yeah, that's fine. No, that's good. I hope lots of ones get rolled. Lots of critical fails.
Now, okay, so new question.
Sure.
I felt that there was a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy influence with the, with a little more modern vibe with the visuals that were being shown with the ship and the locations and things like that. It just had that feel to it. Was that intentional or just kind of happened?
Not intentional, but I loved Firefly. I loved Guardians, the first one. I like the characters. I like the idea of the characters that are just kind of like they're not all good. Space smuggler is a trope. Like that's just what it is. And so, I enjoy that. But for me, I think it was a matter of trying to weave in the thing about Alex and wanting to be home and his relationship with Toshiro and really all of his relationships, because when you think about it, imagine floating through space, going from job to job and just scraping by for 20 or 30 years, that's going to change you to a degree. So, and looking, and that whole idea of the last score, and all those things, like we need the big payday. We need this, to just, we've got to repair this. We've got to do that. Like all of these other concerns and all that going on. So, but I liked Guardians. I love Peter Quill as a character, for sure. So you all right over there?
I have a child over here doing something. I have no idea what the hell he's doing.
I hear the barking. Is anything on fire or is anyone bleeding?
No. So we're good.
Then you're good. Yeah.
Okay,
all right.
Give me some details.
Alex Aurora, somewhat swashbuckling space smuggler, has managed to stay alive in spite of everyone's best efforts. And yeah, longs for home, or at least thinks he longs for home. And just like anybody that has some, I don't know, I guess personality issues or insecurities, he feels like home is like the holy grail for him, is finding like the idealistic home, where it's a planet and he can just live there and live out his days and so on and so forth. And his hunt for that is kind of what sets up the entire book. That's how it starts out and everything like that. So he has to deal with fixers, and fixers that send him on jobs and to do the things and all this. And then that's when he gets in, and we didn't even touch on the villains, but that's when we get in with Simon and the Euclideans and all that stuff. And then we have the ODN, and then you've got the government bureaucracy that's just all red tape and, can barely get themselves out of a paper bag, and all that, because what else would a bloated intergalactic government do, other than just screw everything up? So, yeah. I guess that's Alex in a nutshell, is pretty much, he's got his best buddy, but he definitely takes him for granted. And feels like he's not appreciated, wants to find home. And that's kind of what drives him until he gets pulled into all this. And even as he gets pulled into all this, like, he's not an altruistic kind of guy. He's still out for a payday, and then there was the perfect example was when they met Leopold, and Leopold's like, I'll give you money if you just ingest this.
Right. Yeah.
And before then, Alex is given this
that
long
whole
speech.
Scene, oh my God, that was chaos in the box.
It was chaos for sure. And
God.
Right before then, he's giving the speech to Andromeda where he's like, like rule number 2, like, here, just don't eat anything. Like, don't like, and of course somebody's like, I'll give you money if you do this. And he's like, okay. Like, so just that's Alex, and he gets things that are when they have to hide and they have to, change form, and he asks Leopold to help him out with that one. And that's when all that crazy stuff goes on too. But he's the guy that just, luck favors him and he winds up getting out of these situations.
Okay.
Really, Andromeda's she really tests the whole hot to crazy ratio, like, that's where's your threshold, because she's a little too crazy sometimes, and so entering into that and then weaving that through the whole thing as well. And then you have Simon. I got big plans for Simon.
Really? Okay.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because at some point, that's going to have to resolve, Simon's not the type of villain that I want to write out of the book or have defeated. He just might have to become a crew member at some point. So
you could probably get into the trilogy before you wrap up Simon.
Oh yeah, no, I got a lot of plans for that one for sure. So, and definitely for Leopold, because I had this entire idea of where Leopold was going. He was going to the library. His big thing is just a search for knowledge, and so they're gonna have to go get him. And now you're gonna see what the library's like. And so imagine an intergalactic storage of information in the most protected way imaginable. And that's where Leopold ends up. And that's what they're going to have to, that's where they're going to have to go get him.
Okay.
So a lot to be had.
Well, that'd be his happy place, though.
You would think so. You would think so. So there's that. And lots of inspirations from that too. Avatar: The Last Airbender is an inspiration for that. You remember the library in Avatar?
I do not. I've seen a few episodes, but that's about it.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, they had it's this underground library with this owl thing and all that. So it was pretty epic. And so a little bit of an inspiration from there too. But those are pretty much the ones, man. I don't know. Anything else we didn't touch on? Shippy?
Shippy be a good explanation. I know exactly where he comes from. So
of course.
Go ahead. Go. Shippy.
Shippy. He's basically the far future Space Pew Pew version of Clip It from Microsoft Office.
Yep.
Except,
Clippy.
Clippy. And except he shows up when all hell is breaking loose and trying to get them used to the controls of a ship that they're not used to and all that. And
what the hell is about the cheese? Why is it always cheese?
Why is it always cheese?
I mean, okay, in this house we worship Jesus and all the great flavors that he brings to us. But what is it with Shippy and cheese?
Yeah, there it is. There it is, right there. No, it was, I just think cheese is funny. Really, that's all that is. I just think cheese is funny. And so I've got these creatures in there, the bioluminescent yargs, which are just like, imagine bioluminescent bulls that are just present on just about every planet, as part of like livestock essentially. And you got to make cheese, but it's not easy to milk a yarg. So people die doing that, but it's a delicacy. So he's always like, "Can I interest you in this cheese?" Because usually they're used to eating the protein slop. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
see.
pretty much it.
Hey, explain that asshole.
Oh, yeah, I can't. Dude's a jerk. What a jerk. What a buffoon.
Now, Leopold was. From the get-go, he was like, wait, what the hell is going on now?
What is that?
And
so, what's really interesting to me? Mushrooms. Okay. Mushrooms are interesting because they're not plant fully and they're not animal. They're just something different. And when I started, reading about them and knowing that like in forests and stuff like that, the mycelium is underneath and it's just this network. Right, that's like in a forest. So much so that trees can actually communicate through it in a way. Whereas if a tree is failing and they're networked, nutrients will actually flow through the mycelium to get there. They did an experiment in Japan where they had essentially, it was like a petri dish but a maze, and they started growing mycelium in it. The maze was built like their grid for like one of the cities. And sure enough, mycelium finds the most efficient way to connect and communicate through it. And that's how they got ideas to build their public transit system in the most efficient way possible.
Nice. Okay.
That's really cool, right? So I'm thinking, why wouldn't there be a life form that's based on mycelium or fungus based essentially? And that's where Leopold came from. The idea of making him kind of like a psychopathic mad scientist, was like, that's just for fun, and constantly experimenting and just like this thing for knowledge. But also he's deeply religious, the whole grand filament thing.
Okay. He is your Doc Brown. He really
in a way,
got that vibe of Doc Brown.
Right. In a way, for sure. But also, look, anytime you throw part of the storytelling, if it's just all gags and it's all insanity, then it's just all gags and insanity. You have to have ways for these characters to actually mature, grow, and have somebody tell them something that they possibly don't want to hear.
Right.
And so Leopold's job in that is to introduce just the concept of a higher power to Alex. And that's his whole thing with like, we talk about the grand filament. It connects everything through all of space and through all of time. And so, and the way he describes it is like if you pull a little bit here, something here in just the slightest way is affected somehow. And he tries to get that through to Alex. Boom Boom does it in a much better way, where he's just like, you're bad at violence. Again, 4 words.
How much Star Trek Discovery influence is there?
Never saw Discovery.
Oh, really?
Okay, so Next Generation, definitely watched a lot of. Still dislike Wesley Crusher. Still wish I had a holodeck. Yeah. So I'd say like quite a bit there. Babylon 5, definitely a huge influence that way. I loved The Expanse. But like one of my favorite shows is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And if you look at how characters interact and their foils for one another, Buffy's writing is amazing. You know, the interactions with Xander and Buffy and like Willow and everything, they're just like, they play off each other. And then so you know who Leopold is? Leopold is what's his name? Giles. Leopold's kind of like my Giles.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, with Discovery, they actually had a spore drive. So there's the mycelium network that stretches through the universe and connects, and they follow these pathways and all this and that.
Right.
So that's why I was asking. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah. I like the concept of connections and those kinds of things, and something a little bit deeper there, and just have some mystery and whatnot. So, I mean, that's how they all get in, and mess around with each other. And then Malachi, and he's not in a lot of the book, but he's big. So I got a lot of plans for that as well. For what's going to happen with his character and his race and all those things.
Well, okay. So book 2, have you started it yet?
Sort of.
Oh my God. Where's book 2? I mean,
sort of.
Damn you authors.
There's certain things. Okay. So there's certain things there that I'm still trying to structure properly. Let's put it that way. There's certain things where I just need to structure properly, because I want to make sure that the correct through lines are carried through, that the new characters can get introduced and interwoven within it. And that I'm not getting too lost on everything. So, and also I don't really want it to be much longer than book 1. It will inevitably probably be a little bit heftier, but I think that's normal, but I'm not trying to overload it, and I want the stories to continue. So.
Right. Okay. So you have a second release this month too.
Yeah. Yes. Do I?
Yeah.
So Joy Jitsu got released.
There we go.
Yep. Joy Jitsu got released. So that was a week ago, roughly. And so that's this one. Boom. Joy Jitsu. Wrote with my good friends and co-authors, Eric Allen and Kyle Mahadio, up in Canada. We were in the Canadian Rockies eating fresh meat roasted on a fire in the shadow of the mountains, and putting together something pretty awesome there. So those guys are incredible. They started a business with $500 in their pocket. They built it to $1 million business. They got 2.5 million people on YouTube. They're all over they're flying all over the place. They just did a 2 weeks, I think 2 week or so stint in Tokyo. And, the entire time they filmed. So Kyle's a videographer. They have like this, I don't know, this $10, $12, $15,000 like cinema camera that they do all this stuff with. And they meet with these people that are just experts in their martial art, and they film it, they develop a course, and then they sell the digital course online. And, they got a lot of people that are into this. So a lot of stick fighting, a lot of knife fighting, a lot of street type, like self-defense stuff. And a lot of traditional. They were hanging out with this dude that was just a straight up samurai out there. And it was like, I mean, the filming that they got was was stunning. They got one guy that was doing Cali stuff at the base of like this ancient step pyramid that they're filming him like doing all this stuff. And they make clothes, they do weapons, they do like all sorts of cool stuff. But they're very positive guys, and they're really big on giving back. And one of their big things is starting with service. So they're like, if you, and I really take this to heart, if you help people and you start with help, good things come to you, and things tend to work themselves out. And part of the reason that I'm doing the web show and all this is to take authors, because they're crap at getting themselves out there. I'm not good on camera. I don't sound good. It's noisy. I don't have time, and all this stuff. But what they do is they go on Twitter and they try to hawk their book to all the other authors for 99 cents. And it's just really sad. And so there's a better way. And I'm like, if I can use my skills to platform authors and basically just say, like, come on this show, let me ask you about you. Like, let's people get to know you. Don't just come on here and talk about your magic system, because nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Right. Nobody cares. Love the Budo brothers. Absolutely, man. They're the best. And they were so gracious to me. They flew me up there. We stayed there for a few days. We had a wild time. But we got it done, and they had this whole concept for Joy-Jitsu, which focuses on gratitude and like all of these different things. I helped them start their podcast. I had a podcast when they were just getting started with their business, and I had them on. That's how we met, like 6 years ago. And I helped them start. I was the host of their podcast for the first like 4 months or so that it was going on. And, they launched, and we just always stayed in touch. And then Kyle called me and he's like, listen, we want to write a book, but we don't know how to do that. And you do. So we're not going to do it unless you say yes. And so I was like, well, and at the time, I'll be perfectly honest, I was pretty depressed. I was in a rough spot. I wasn't writing. I wasn't doing anything. And I wanted to say no, but I knew it was good for me to say yes. So I said yes.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like, we tried to do it through like Zoom meetings. It didn't work. So they're like, you know what? Screw it. We're flying you to Calgary. Okay. So he flew me up to Calgary, and Eric's dad has like a small ranch up there with a separate like house on the ranch. They have some cattle that roams. They've got chickens. They got all the veggies, like all the things. And it literally like shadow of the Rocky Mountains, like an hour from Banff or something like that, like way the hell up there. And they flew me up there. We had like a 4 or 5 day weekend, and just got to it. We broke down everything about the book and how it was going to be laid out, and recorded them riffing off of everything. And then they were very specific. They said, we want Joy-Jitsu to be your story. You're the narrator. It's your perspective, but we're in it equally. And I'm like, all right, so for the book, it's a lot of the lessons that I learned talking with them about these things and changing the perspective on it and all that. But they're incredible dudes. It's seriously, and the kind of work that they do with the stuff that they create is just really incredible. And they've got a lot planned for this IP too. So Joy-Jitsu may end up being like a course or something like that. Like we're looking at doing a lot with it.
What's
and also
Joy-Jitsu?
What's what?
What's the basis?
What do you mean? Like
give me your elevator pitch.
Oh, goodness gracious. The art of living a joyful life. I mean, that's really what it is. It's when you are in those dark moments where everything seems to be closing in and you feel like you need help and you don't know how to ask for help and you don't know where to go and everything seems out of control, overwhelming, and you're just in the pit. Joy-Jitsu is written to be a beacon that step by step brings you out of those woods. And it starts with a little match and a little flame. And we just go there. We're going to have to chat about them. Their videos were influential hosting instructors, techniques, etc. that I implement my own defensive tactics program as an instructor for my foreign agency. That, yeah, they're fantastic, man. And so the whole idea, because for the two of them, I mean, they've been broke and broken multiple times. Kyle had a gym that he was running. He had his own like gym, and ended up like having a hard time with it, and then that ends up failing. And then he tells his story about how like he was at a gas pump, and this was his low moment, and he had to call his mom to get him like $10 to put some gas in his car. And he's like, what am I doing with my life? Like, why am I here? You know, and everything was just really dark and terrible. Eric had a very similar experience. Eric was he was an engineer in the shale industry up in Canada, which was like huge. And that crashed, you know, and again, it was like he had his breakdown moment. You know, I had my breakdown moment when I lost my big brother. And so the three of us really we hit a lot of resonance on those things. And knowing how you need some other people to pull you out, and how it's really hard to ask for help, you know, and how you can be in that real dark place, and it's very scary, you know, and so they wanted me to approach that like creative nonfiction. And so, and I told them, I'm like, this is how I write. Like I have to write visually. So the book starts out with just setting the scene. You're in the woods. It's raining, dark, muddy, cold. You're terrified. You're overwhelmed. You don't know what to do. You know, and then it just starts with a match. You light one match, right? And now you can see just a little bit. And that match is you accepting where you are, right? And then we build on from there, and we start to get into the concepts of gratitude. And one in particular is having gratitude for things that you don't necessarily want in your life, you know, and the situation that you find yourself in. And then we go from gratitude to things like growth and creativity and all those different things, and really step you through it. The audiobook is incredible. If you go to Amazon, the sample for the audiobook is 7 minutes of me talking about failure, and how much of a failure I am, and how you can weaponize failure. And, you know, I describe it as failure being this giant sword that's rusty and gnarled, a little bent, chips out of it, and all these different things. And it's all those times that you failed. But the thing about that sword is that those failures, those are yours. And you can use that sword and swing it to get through anything else that's in your way. And so we really build on those concepts and that kind of imagery to help people to kind of pull out of these things and give them a kick in the ass.
And you fictionalized it with Space Pew Pew.
What's that?
You fictionalized it with Space Pew Pew.
What do you mean?
A lot of those same concepts are within that story with Alex growing.
Yep.
The difficulties that he has to face with Shiro and Leopold and everything else going on. And Alex is growing through this entire process.
100%. And honestly, Caretaker, very similar, because that was written, you know, that was largely written in the weeks after my brother had passed away. So that book started out as something that was going to be very different. You know, and that changed its trajectory drastically. You know, because in Caretaker, I'm exploring loss and being lost and being alone and like a lot of those things. This is who I am. These are the things that I've been through. I wear my depression on the sleeve. Like I'm not shy about saying that I went through it and I had a hard time. 2 years, I didn't write any words. You know, it was just really hard until I had there was a day, Hillbilly, where I went. I was going to have a writing day. I was trying to get back into the writing. My morning was perfect. I had my coffee. All of my devices were charged. That's a big deal for me. You know, my noise canceling headphones. I had a Saturday off, nothing to do. Like I'm going to my favorite coffee shop. So, and I vlogged it. I went to my favorite coffee shop. I'm going down the sidewalk. I'm vlogging as I'm going. I'm in a great mood. Everything's cool. And this is, 2 years after my brother had passed away. You know, okay. I wrote his eulogy. I delivered his eulogy. That's a piece of writing that I'm actually very, very proud of as well. But you know, it's 2 years of dealing with that and all those feelings, and obviously still missing him. So, but it wasn't even on my mind that morning. And then I get to my coffee shop, and my corner seat is open. Yes, it's the only seat in there that had a charger that worked, like an outlet that worked. So I'm like, yes, I can plug it in. I go up, I get my favorite sandwich, I get my favorite cup of coffee. I'm sitting down. I've got I had my iPad with a little keyboard. I'm like, I'm good to go. My headset's in. People are coming and going. I can watch them, but I'm like quiet in the corner. It's the perfect environment to get words down. And I sit there. I'm like, I don't really know what to write. So I put on some music. Alice in Chains comes on. Now, I love Alice in Chains, but they're dark.
Yep.
And they can send you to a place knowing what Lane Staley went through and all that kind of stuff. It's just, there's a real, I don't want to say like nihilism about them, but like there's a lot of pain in those. And one little thought about my brother started to steamroll. So I wasn't there for maybe a half hour, and I'm like, I got to pack up. I got to go home because I just don't like, I feel like something's coming and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Storms on the horizon, right? Dark clouds, really dark clouds. So I go home and I'm like, well, there goes my writing day. And, but I'm still like, I feel like I need to express something, and what I was holding on to was a lot of anger that my brother was gone. He was 54 years old. He went in for a surgery that was just a routine shoulder surgery. 15 minutes. That was it. 15 minutes under the knife. They were just going to clean out, arthroscopic. Couldn't come out of the anesthesia.
Really?
His heart stopped. So they restarted it, stopped again. As soon as he started to come to, gone. So again and again. They tried to revive him for an hour to get him out after what was literally a 12-minute surgery to clean out his shoulder. His heart just gave out. After an hour, they were like, if he comes back, he's a vegetable. So we're just going to call it and we're going to let him go. And that was it. And at the time, I was in Las Vegas having a great time. I had talked to him two days before. I tell this story in Jiu-Jitsu, and I read that chapter on the audiobook, and I almost didn't make it through. And thank goodness I had Eric and Kyle right there. They were giving me the space. We were all in the room together. We're in this little shag carpeted room recording the audiobook in Canada. And they knew that this chapter, like we all knew the day that recording was going to have to happen, that was going to be the tough one. Yeah. Right. So I'm telling the story there. It's all on the audio. And, I get back after my failed writing stint. I sit down and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put the camera on. I just had this feeling like I'm going to try and just finish out the vlog, essentially. I had Alice in Chains going and I started writing just free form. And what I ended up writing was a letter to my brother about how pissed off I was that he was gone, that he left. And it got more and more intense as it went. And at one point, I couldn't take it anymore. I stood up. I got my keyboard. I smashed the shit out of it on the desk. I knocked the computer over. I threw it across the room. I fell down on the floor and I sobbed. And that was it.
But you got it out.
I got it out. And so here's a remarkable piece about this, right? And this is something really important, honestly, for authors and for everybody to understand too, is what vulnerability does when other people see it. Right. Mm-hmm. I finished the video. Jackie came over. She was in New York at the time. She came and I said, listen, I want you to watch this. It's not an easy watch. I'm not posting it, but I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure. So she's like, all right. So she watched it. She was like, holy shit. And she's like, honestly, you should put it up. Because a lot of people on my channel were following the story. They knew everything that was going on. They knew that he had passed away. They knew I wrote the eulogy. I read the eulogy on one of the videos, and all those different things. And, these people were, a lot of them were very close friends. Steve, who just left the review that I read earlier, ordered the book. Isla, who ordered the book in Germany. They all were with me through all of this a couple years back. So I posted it. And I'm like, I don't even want to look at the comments. I don't even want to see what's happening. Right. And sure enough, comments started to roll in and I'm like, all right, I guess I have to have a look. I got to respond to some people. And I was so overwhelmed with people saying, like David, this is actually like you're healing. Like that's what healing looks like.
Yep.
And I had other people that were like, the amount of responses I got of like, I'm feeling the same thing and I want to have the same breakdown. Like you really helped me to feel like it's okay for me to just feel this way over a loss, like a loss of a mom or a loss of a dad or whatever else. And that taught me a few things, you know, just about the power of communication, the power of writing, the power of communicating, the power of being vulnerable to people, to say like, you can look inside of me. I'm going to have the courage to post this. And if it helps you, like I'm happy. And it did. It helped a lot of people. Caretaker has another one like that. I wrote a piece a long time ago when I was very, very depressed, lost. Just like I was not figuring it out. It was kind of like my first foray into the depression world, right? And there's a chapter in there, chapter 21. Everybody knows chapter 21 if they've read The Caretaker, where I basically rolled that piece that I wrote years before into a scene, worked it into the character, it fit seamlessly in the story. It was perfect. I got a message from somebody when after the book was published, and it was somebody that just found me on YouTube, got the book, read the book. I think they were in like South Korea. They didn't leave an email address to contact them. They didn't leave a phone number or a name or anything. It was just an anonymous person. They went to my website and they sent an email through the form on my site. And what he said was, David, I read the book. I read chapter 21. You saved my life. That was it. And I'm like, holy shit. First of all, what do you say to that? Like,
You don't
say anything.
I mean,
But
that's one of those things, man. I mean, we're invoking emotion and physical response.
yeah,
And
but it comes from a real place.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, you know, a lot of these, when you were saying earlier, like, where's this come from in Space Pew Pew? And where's this come from and all these kinds of things? Man, this is just the shit that I lived.
Yeah.
You know, I've lived all over the United States. I've lived on the West Coast. I lived in the Midwest. I lived on the East Coast. I've seen a bunch of things. I've traveled internationally. I've screwed up more times than I can count. I've failed at absolutely everything, you know, and yeah, I'm going to put that stuff in. And I've been lost and I've been depressed and I've been anxious. First time I ever had a panic attack was shortly after my brother passed away, because I thought my heart was going to explode.
Yep.
I literally was calling people, panicking. My heart is exploding. I'm home. I don't know what to do. They ended up trying to give me a stress test. So they put the sandpaper, they stick the things on you. You get your fat ass on the treadmill. I couldn't start because he's like, it looks like your blood pressure is, it was like, he's like, it's like 400 over 300 right now. Like, we can't have you running, you know, like we can't do that. You got to calm down. I'm like, I can't calm down. I feel like my heart's going to explode at any moment, you know? And that's when I learned what a panic attack was. I'd never experienced it before, you know?
And
so
that feeling, it so fucking sucks. I thought I was having a heart attack the first time because the oldest, 2 weeks old, would not stop screaming, and I had esophageal spasms is what it ended up being. But I had a panic attack because I thought I was having a heart attack.
Like throat closing, that kind of thing?
Well, no, just pain shooting down the arm.
Oof,
because
yeah.
the esophagus is in the same nerve cluster as the heart.
Right.
So, you know, with all the stress and everything, and I was working 65, 70-hour work weeks, that sent me into that same kind of panic spiral. And I thought I was having a heart attack, dude.
Yeah.
And they sent me in, ended up finally sending me to the gastro because I did the heart stress test. You know, that's probably why we jive so good. We've lived a lot of shit and we've got that same vibe.
Yeah.
I would just roll with it. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I own it for sure. You know, not perfect. Wasn't a perfect dad. You know, and this is one of the, if you listen to the audiobook, you gotta hit the link and just listen to that 6 minute of me talking like this, because it starts on like, I literally just run down all the things I failed at, Like failed at marriage, failed at kids, failed at this, failed at that. I failed when I took a shower one time when I was a little drunk and I had my underwear on. Like everything. Like I've failed at all of it, but understanding and credit to Eric and Kyle for being like, we want you to put you in this book because you have these, you are a natural storyteller and you have things to say that can help people. And that's why the three of us jive as well as we do, because we want to help others. And this entire project was just like, we didn't even discuss money, but like nothing, because we didn't want to taint anything. It was just, let's make this the best possible thing for other people. And at the time we started it, it was COVID. So like people are just lost and like, everything's screwed up anyway, like hell in a handbasket in every direction. And we're like, man, people need something that's just going to help bring them out. Like, yeah, we do have mental health crises, going on. And so this is our efforts to take those people that might be struggling and just give them some tools and some things that they can read and understand and just have some perspective. We talk about Ikigai. Do you know what Ikigai is?
No, not right off.
It's the Japanese concept of finding your purpose. And so you combine like, what can I do? What can help people? What can I be paid for? And whatever else. Right. And in there, I step through the whole thing, like listing out, these are the things that I'm good at. These are the things that I could get paid for, so on and so forth. Of course, it's like writing and helping others. Those were the two things, and so for me, running a show like this, platforming people, it's small now, but it won't be forever. I'm investing in it. I'm trying to and will it help me? Of course, because as LibertyCon rolls around this year and next, people are going to know, oh, you interviewed these authors. You're the Mirth Quake guy. Yep. Yeah. Well, also, I have my books.
That's no different than my randomness videos.
Right. 100%. These are my random thoughts.
It helps me to get shit off my chest.
Right.
But at the same time, maybe those words will help somebody.
Yes.
There's been more than a few things that I've wrote. Like I had a couple of things within the Wildcat story. I had people reaching out to me with private messages saying how raw and real that I had wrote some of these things, that it dealt with PTSDs. It dealt with loss and trauma and all that. And there's chapters I can't go back and read because I will break down and just bawl my eyes out.
Right. But
those chapters actually helped other people.
Yes, 100%.
And
it does.
That is beautiful in itself, man.
When you have
there was no intention of that ever happening. I just wrote the story
for you,
but it helped somebody else.
Yeah,
and I can literally understand method actors at this point because of some of the scenes that I've wrote in different stories with that, and the story I have with the Benton universe. I put myself into a very, very dark place.
Yeah.
Everybody says it was it Heath Ledger.
Yep.
He got too deep into the Joker.
Yeah,
and that's what ended up finishing him. I can understand putting yourself into that dark place to understand it, to realize it, to become it.
Right.
And it's hard to let go at a point. I mean, method actors, Johnny Depp. Captain Jack Sparrow will never leave that man.
Right.
He will always have something of Captain Jack Sparrow as part of him at this point in life.
Yeah.
Because he absorbed that part of the method actor. Johnny Depp, the original, does not exist and has not existed for a very long time because he absorbs his characters.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not the Edward Scissorhands anymore.
Right.
He's not 21 Jump Street anymore for sure.
He's the chameleon. He adapts to the environment.
Yeah.
And he absorbs those traits and those ideals and becomes something different.
Right. Yeah.
But sometimes we have to adapt.
Well, and my whole thing is in terms of this and trying to get other authors to be on, to like just get your ass on camera, is you have to understand that especially when you're a newer author and you're out there and you've got a book and whatever, and you deal with this, right? You deal with people that come to you and they have a story and they pitch a story and you're like, well, do you have any online presence at all? The answer is it's really rare. Like maybe they got a mailing list, 12 people, or whatever.
That is absolutely an important thing. If you're going to go it doesn't matter if you're going traditional or if you're going indie.
Right.
You have to have some kind of following. You have to build your own presence because the traditional publishing model is faulty. It does not work.
Right. Well, and if you're so scattershot that you're like, for instance, with Space Pew Pew, right? So like if I'm brand new and I write this book and I get out there, I don't know anybody. And if I just start shouting, like I wrote this book and it's space and it's silly and whatever else, like, okay, maybe somebody's be like, oh, that's kind of interesting. If I'm talking about my characters and the world and so on and so forth, especially with like fantasy, where it's like, this is my magic system and these are the dragons and then this is the race of these beings and this is the race and so on and so forth. I'm already bored to sleep. I don't care.
Right. Yeah.
But you know what I want to know? Do you write in the morning? Are you a pantser or a plotter?
Right.
What does your life look like when words are going down? What does your life look like when you don't feel like you can write? And how did you do it anyway? Because now I'm getting to know you. And now I want to support you and I want to buy your book.
Well, okay, so we're shifting gears away from Space Pew Pew and more about the writing, the authorship, things like that. You're selling yourself as much as a product.
100%. Absolutely.
That's why, I talk about the motorcycles, riding, the garden, the chickens, all these things that we do here at the house.
The cat distribution system.
Right. Because that's part of life here.
Yeah.
And it's those little things that people might connect with. It's those little tiny bits.
Right.
It's why I do my randomness videos of it might connect with somebody. I talked about like love languages.
Right.
I talked about getting out of your own way.
Yeah.
Because it might connect with somebody, but also it helps me to get that information out because I lack that information from the get-go.
Right.
Just like I freely share any information about publishing and writing because it took me so long to learn the craft and the business of writing.
Well, yeah, and that is a completely different animal. It's not just sit down and tell a story.
And because it took me so long to figure out how to go about that and to get those switches flipped in the back of my head, I freely share that information so somebody doesn't have to they don't have to suffer like I did.
Yeah, they can at least you grease the skids a little bit, right?
Exactly.
Like, let me try and make it a little easier for you.
Taking 20 years to figure out how the hell to go about it, you can actually jump ahead by decades.
Well, and this is the thing that I tell people too. Like I feel like I have experience in a lot of different things. Like me, I'm doing trading cards.
Yeah,
we got trading cards. I'm going to do a poster. I do a poster. We did a poster. Then LibertyCon last year, I'm like, I'm not going to sit there. There he is. I'm not going to sit there with 4 people in the reading room. I need to pack that room. Yeah. So how do I pack that room? So now I'm trying to think about how do I pack the room? All right, I'm going to use the trading cards to pack the room. Sure enough, you know what I heard after LibertyCon, and it was confirmed, I had the most people. The most people were there for me and Phil in that room because there was like 30 people in there.
And it was beautiful.
And then what's her name? Christine Erickson, right?
Yep.
She came up afterwards and she's like, how the hell did you get everybody in there? I'm like, well, I bribed them. But I bribed them in a way that actually didn't cost me very much. And I was just really open about it. I made invitations. I gave people invitations to come listen to me read. It's going to be great. I'm going to give you a packet. You get your own little pack of cards. All you got to do is come listen to me for 20 minutes. That's it.
Yep.
That's all. So you think a little bit outside the box with these kinds of things. I design all that myself. I design all the merch, the posters, the things, all this kind of crap. Like I'm sitting there on Illustrator. I got the music going and I'm just screwing around.
Dude.
Right.
Okay. Your videos, your images that you're pumping out, they're absolutely fucking beautiful.
Right. And then we got that alternate cover We need to get on some books.
Can you bring that up?
I might be able to. Yeah, I could throw it on. I could throw it on here.
We did not hit the Kickstarter goal to put this out. There's going to be a copy that he has. There's going to be a copy that I have.
I may have to get more than one copy for myself. But yes, let me see if I can.
There we go. The 80s version.
The Gen X Collector's Edition. Yeah, I know. I just like I wanted to go for that whole vibe. You were the one that suggested the whole grid thing on there. That was awesome. It's like that. Just
it goes back to all the games and everything else. And
of course.
Was it War Games the movie?
I was just thinking about War Games with Matthew. Ferris. Sure.
Damn it. Yeah, that guy.
Well, and just like what it looked like in the TIE fighters and like the X-Wings, like that's what it looked like. Like
the games.
Yeah, it is so cool, right? Like it's an epic. But even that, I'm just like, you know what? I just feel like doing an alternate cover, so I'm just going to goof around, go into Illustrator, and make an alternate cover, and just have at it. So, where'd you go? Oh, keep talking. Okay, yeah. Yeah, see, that's dope. Gen X for sure. Exactly right, man. So, I feel like I have a lot to say, and I feel like I got a lot of ways that I can help people and help fellow authors and all that kind of stuff. At one point, here's a fun fact about me. At one point, I created a free software application that was downloaded and in use in every single country in the world. The last one to adopt it was some dude on Kiribati, some island in the South Pacific or some such thing. And then people realized that it was kind of like a virus. It wasn't intended as such, but it sort of acted that way. And then they couldn't uninstall it. So that actually didn't end up all that great. But like, this is what I'm saying, man. I got stories to tell. I got ways to help, and I want to help my fellow authors, and I want to help my fellow creators. And that's the whole reason I'm doing all this stuff. And then when I want to help other people, it's the opportunity to do things like this, and that was a formative and incredible thing that I was able to do in my life. And that's something that I wanted to share with people. It's really funny, Jay, that's that you knew of the Budo brothers through the other stuff. That's pretty good. Actually, I'm going to bring this up real quick, cause I want to take a screenshot and send this one to them. Just say, so they know we got people. Oh, where'd we go? Oh, maybe I can't do it. Oh, that's all right. They'll know. It's on the stream. You're right there, Hillbilly?
Yep.
We got to wrap up, my man. It's getting late. Anything else?
Holy crap.
Anything pew pew wise we need to cover? I think we pretty much covered everything. We had a good launch day.
No, I think we've covered pretty much everything there. Let me double check here real quick where we're at. Okay, we're still at 3 there. Oh, we moved up to number 4 in absurdist fiction print.
Nice.
Oh, wait. Where'd you go? Oh, we're number 15 now in new releases humorous science fiction. So it's climbing. Epic. So, whoever went and got copies, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Boost the signal. That's the best thing you can do is, it costs you nothing to boost the signal out there to other people.
Yep. Yeah, I've been going crazy on Twitter. I think I'm annoying people on Twitter, but it's fine. you can just scroll past it.
It's just one of those things. But yeah, the more that you boost the signal, the better it's going to be.
For sure.
If it keeps climbing the way it is, we should end up with a orange tag.
Man, I'll keep my fingers crossed. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, the only thing I can really say is if you like to laugh, if you like an enjoyable read that doesn't melt your brain because there's too much information, it's just fun. It's enjoyable, and it takes you on an adventure. Space Pew Pew is good.
Yeah, there's plenty of dick jokes.
Absolutely.
There's too many.
You're going to laugh. You're going to giggle, snort. Don't drink a damn thing as you're reading it, because you'll end up putting it on your book or your e-reader.
Yeah. The whole whole book starts out. I mean, you caught the initial reference in the book. Do you remember the first line?
Not right off the top of my head, no.
I'm gonna read it because you're gonna know. You're gonna picture the guy, and you're gonna know. Right? Here's my first line. There we go. Chapter 1, Ball Tap. Right? I recalled an ancient turn legend about a man who mesmerized thousands by smashing ripe fruit with a large wooden mallet.
Oh wait, yeah.
Right, there you
reference.
Right.
Yep.
You got to start it off with something like that. And yeah, so like I just figured let's hit the gas pedal from the first line and just not stop until it's over. I'm throwing out all the references.
No, dude, you wrote a beautiful story.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
And
I appreciate all that you did to, waiting on me, bothering me about when's the book going to be done and all that. The botched Kickstarter. This has just been a wild ride. So, and I'm looking forward to more. I'm looking forward to a big expanded universe.
Yep, and we opened it up to an anthology and other writers coming into it. It might expand the Puniverse even more.
I've already had a few people that have approached me. They're like, I want to write it. I want to write a stupid space robot story, like really bad. So you're like, I have 3 people waiting in the wings that are just ready to write something.
Give me the rules of engagement. We will post it. You will be the head of that anthology, and we'll set it up.
Super fun, man. I would love to do that. That's good. And you know what? Like honestly, this one too. Lot of potential going on right here. You know, and we got the expanded version of that we got to get out. I think we're gonna stick with the eyes on the cover. I think we should stick with.
Okay. Well, we still need to have a talk about that, but that one, if we can get that out before the end of the year, that'd be cool.
Oh man, that's tight. I mean, it's done.
Charity's been going through it.
What's that?
One of my author's editors, she's been going through it, just giving it a little bit of love.
Yep.
She's really not finding anything. She's enjoying the hell out of it. It's a good read.
Excellent. Yep.
So yeah, dude, you write good copy.
That's what I'm looking for. No editing. You get first drafts.
That's a good thing, though.
It's however they come out. I have my process. I edit as you go. I'm an edit as you go guy. I know they say don't do it. Write the first draft. You can't edit what you haven't written. I'm like, well,
but if we can get Caretaker out by the end of the year, then we're going to.
That'd be an epic 2-month stretch. 3 releases in 2 months. Holy
yep.
Shit. All right. I mean, look, whatever
you
I got to
do. Hey, chop. Where's book 2?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Hey, Phil, where's my book?
But hold on. But then I had this one, right? So because this is where my brain goes, hillbilly. Then I'm like, I want to write this one too.
I saw that, and you have to write that at some point.
The morning of the most dangerous job of his life, the world's greatest assassin turned into a chicken. Now he's gonna ruffle some feathers. Yeah, Cluck and Dagger adventure. I think it has legs. Scrawny little chicken legs, but it has legs.
Dude, even if that's just a novelette, you've got to write something.
Something small.
It doesn't matter how big it is. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be fun.
It's so stupid.
It's a trailer park story, without a doubt.
You know, maybe. Yeah. Who knows? I'll get there. That one's on the back burner. This is what I do. When I have the idea, I make the cover for it and I just let it sit there. I just don't want to forget it. And I'm just going to keep that on the back burner. That's all. All right, man, listen, let's wrap up. And thanks to everybody and anybody that was in the chat and all that. Thanks for listening to Hillbilly's serenading.
Wait. Hold on. Ready?
All right, what do you got?
Oh, damn it.
Oh, nice. Oh.
Yeah.
All right, that was a little rough, but yeah.
It needs tuned.
That's good. That's good. I'm getting a real Appalachian vibe right now. I like it.
Doggy.
Of course. Oh man. I can't wait to see you at LibertyCon again. We're gonna have a good time. Thank you. Thanks, Dan, for being around. I appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words today and all that. Serenade us out. You got to sing us out. KB, he's going to sing us out. What was it from? What was the Tom and Jerry Crambo or whatever he did when the string kept breaking?
Oh yeah.
Someone he did ride Crambo. There it is. You just always noodling around on that thing, or what?
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, if I would have known, I would have busted out. I would have busted out my accordion. I have one.
Oh wait, let's see.
Do you want another one?
Wait.
Nice.
Ah, damn it! I screwed that
My
up.
first concert. That was my first concert. They came out to ringing the Hell's Bell.
Okay.
It was epic. I had Angus on he was on the stage doing his thing with that was quite a show.
Yeah, I've never really learned anything. It's just been a matter of picking.
No, that's all right. That's all you got to
Keeping
do.
things busy and just moving things around.
That's because that's how your brain works. Well, listen, thank you, sir. I appreciate you spending so much time with me tonight. And thanks to everybody that was in the chat and hanging out with us. Really glad to have you guys enter the Puniverse with me. Much more to be done. Now you can all give me shit about not having book 2 out. And I'll get on it. That's fine.
Where's book 2? I need to read it.
Book 2 and an audiobook. Book 2 and an audiobook.
I got your address.
You do.
I'm gonna send you a bag of dicks.
Send it to I'm gonna send you the Mr. Fister. That's what I'm doing. Oh man. You wrote that and you were like, what? Should I bring it up?
Go ahead, do it.
I don't think they're not gonna kick us off a stream for showing this thing. Nobody knows what it is. Right?
Maybe.
It happens to be the
You had to go with the double fister.
I really did. Oh shit. That's really funny. That is, if you want to know what my brain is like in one image, there it is. I'm like, how about a happy Japanese kawaii pleasure toy for 2 called the Mr. Fister? Yeah.
At least 3 chapters.
Coming to a Space Pew Pew sequel near you. Mr. Fister's going to be in there somewhere. Imagine that giveaway at LibertyCon. Anyway, wow, that's gonna get really wild.
Yeah, we gotta sing karaoke now. We gotta sing lounge songs at karaoke.
Oh well, there it is. All right, yeah, I'll try and
Sarah and Alice do it.
I'll work on it. I'll work on the voice. All right, man. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for everything. I really appreciate you. Nothing but gratitude and love for you and the fam. And yeah, let's keep on rolling.
All right, man. You take it easy. Everybody, thank y'all for coming.
Yeah, and really appreciate
Jacqueline, thank you for keeping him wrangled.
She's terrible at it. She's terrible at it. She's like, what is that fist thing? Are you serious?
Wait, you won't have to get one and show her.
It doesn't exist. Like maybe you know what? I miss my calling in product development,
dude.
I miss my calling in product development. It's
Rule
like a boomerang,
34, man. Rule 34.
Oh goodness gracious! There's got to be a rule in there for me somewhere in the Raven thing. I'll get it eventually. It's fine. Might have to do it, Mr. Fister. All right, man. Have a good night. Thank you, and you and I will touch base soon on caretaker stuff and Space PP stuff and everything else. Yeah, and that's it. We're good.
Take it easy, y'all.
All right. Peace out, man.